Welcome to this episode of Vision Alignment with Brian Wagner. So I wanted to bring to you a special guest today, but I wanted to also remind you that Vision Alignment is all about understanding that we all have blindness in our lives. And if we can understand that blindness and we can embrace that blindness, then we can do so much more than what we've done before. So understanding your core values and your core beliefs need to be aligned with your vision. That is really what makes the most sense out of everything that we're going to talk about today. So that is what our special guest is going to talk about, because we're going to ask him some questions in that regard. But I wanted to let you get to hear the importance of that. And remember that in your life, in your working world, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a person that is working for someone else, you are still the CEO of a little company, and it's called YOU. Now, understanding the importance of that, of your vision, and how important it is to have your core beliefs, your core values be aligned with your vision is very important. I want to learn from those that go ahead of us. And this gentleman that's going ahead of us, his name is Michael. Michael Leblanc is our guest today, and I'm so excited to have him on. He's going to tell us a little bit about what he's doing in the world. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad to have you on this morning.
You too. You may not know it, but when I first met you at the Business Academy, Author Academy Elite, the workshop, you were my first person I connected with, and I knew no one at this thing. I was from Louisiana, going to Ohio, just kind of jumping into it all, and you just sort of helped me just feel at home the whole time. So it was great.
So, Michael, if you would, a little bit about your story, and I'm going to go away for a little bit while you talk.
Sure. He didn't tell me he was going to leave. So Michael Leblanc, good morning. I am an author. I'm also a coach, and most of my coaching is around knowing we are divine beings and helping people align with their divine self. And so regardless of what area of your life you're trying to improve, are you aligning with your divine self and in that area of your life? And so a lot of my work is around that. And I do energy work also, and alternative healing kind of work. And Brian had mentioned about just sharing my story a little bit. And I guess one of the things I'll share is, so years back, my background's in social work, and I got a degree in social work. I thought I was going to be a priest. I decided against it for different reasons. One was I didn't feel religious. I was born Catholic. Spirituality meant more to me than that. As a gay man, being a priest was okay, not a good idea. So I went to social work, and for years I was doing my loves, and I had a really bad experience with a client, and it really unraveled me in a way. But what it did is it surfaced a lot of, you're not enough, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you just should not be doing it. It brought up all these insecurities of mine. And as easy as it would be to maybe want to be mad at the person, it really just brought up a lot of stuff that was there. And I kind of closed out my company, and I was doing a lot of my loves, and I kind of went back into the working world. And I'm a kind of fast forward. I ended up in corporate America doing consulting and training, international level, for large corporations like Chevron, ExxonMobil, all that kind of stuff. And it was really wonderful. And I got very good at what I was doing. But I don't know if you've ever been good at something you're doing, but you don't love what you're doing. And I really missed the world of personal growth, but I missed the world of spirituality and really having that be a part of my work. I didn't know I was ever going to be an author. That just sort of happened. But for 15, 16 years, I did the corporate thing, and I was good at it, but I just could feel it regularly. You're just not really loving this, and you're not really happy at it. It's good money, the international travel, all of it was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But I just was like, I really want to do what I love before I die. And so I started my own business, and I call it Create with Consciousness. And that's where, through my writings, through workshops, through teachings, through online courses, kind of a combination of things, I really help people align and kind of know your divine being and feel and tap into that, and then live your life and your passion from there, and improve your life and manifest your life from there. So that's a snippet, I guess, of where I was and why I'm here doing what I'm doing.
Wow.
Well, it might not work, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to give it a go.
I love what you're doing. I think you're doing a great job. So tell me a little bit more about, and before we go there, before I ask you this question, I want to bring on some people that have joined us here and just say hello, recognize them. So for Randy Chaffee, good morning, Randy. Hopefully you're doing well this morning. It's great to see you. Hashtag live, and that's phenomenal that he is on this morning. Ted Legal, also another good friend who has joined. It's great to see him on this morning. So hashtag live, and then hashtag live. My friend Mark Husick has joined us this morning. It's great to see him on. And then a new friend, Lady Shoshana. So impressive to see her on this morning. And yes, have a great weekend, lady. So it's this community that we have that are listening. They want to understand when you say things like, I used to be an energy coach or something to that effect, or you are an energy coach. What does an energy coach do?
So for me, it's really about personal experiences around being with healers and Reiki practitioners and masters, and have woven a lot of that into my own process, my own healing work, my own getting to know myself, overcoming kind of blocks, limits, things like that. And so I got trained in Reiki, different Reiki masters over the years. Yeah. What does Reiki mean?
Yeah.
So Reiki is a Japanese healing art. And it really is about, there is a universal life force, if you will, and they would call it ki. And the idea behind it is really we are conduits for that. And you can go within, and it's usually through a channeling more, I feel it more in my palms of my hands is when I do Reiki. And when I assist people with that, I have a guided process I created called Return to Wholeness. And it involves Reiki. It involves a Hawaiian healing technique called Ho'oponopono, and it involves a breath process. But we go through, it's the idea of the chakras, the 8 energy centers that kind of make up our physical body. So you have like an energy body and you have a physical body. And the process is teaching people how to go within and bless and balance those centers. It's kind of like you can think of, you have a skeleton holding up your physical body, and you have different organs that play a part. You actually have energy centers behind all that. So the energy work part is about helping people tap into those areas and bless and balance those areas. It's like if your energy is flowing better, then your physicality will work better, but also your general life will work better. So there's
it makes sense.
And it's just a piece of what I do. So I kind of weave that in depending on if clients are into that or not. So some are in alternative healing, some are not. So it's like, well, if you are, great, we can go there. If you're not, no big deal. So, yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So tell me, what do you think? Somebody else has joined us, so I want to make sure that we recognize and say hello to Mr. Eric Bam. Good morning, Mr. Bam. Good to see you this morning. Hashtag live. So that's cool. Now, for all of you on this morning, please share this video out with other people. So make sure that the message is getting out to as many people as possible. We'd love to have interaction. If you're listening to this on a recording, please put in hashtag replay and into the comments so we know, and just share this again with as many people as you can. So, Michael, if you would, what do you think is the biggest factor in your success?
It's just this. There's just been this inner persistence to kind of want to do what I just feel called to do or inspired to do. Because even when I first got my social work degree in 1987, there was a part of me that I wanted to do my own business. I wanted to create that. And there were other social workers I looked up to and mentored, and I would go talk to them, and it's like, hey, would you teach me? Would you mentor me? And they were like, sure. So, but it was just, there was something in there that wanted to do that. And really, when I quit it, like I mentioned earlier, I had a bad experience, and it just surfaced a lot of, you just aren't good enough. You don't know what you're doing. You shouldn't be doing it. You need to hang this up. And unfortunately, I struggled, and I bought into the lie, if you will. And I did give it up. And I went back and worked for others, and I did get into corporate America doing consulting and training, and it was a great experience. But teaching leadership, and as meaningful as all that was, it wasn't my love. Yeah. And that was a really hard decision, to give up a career that really is good, and that a lot of other people want. And just realized, though, but that's not what's making me happy. And I wrote my first book while I was figuring out how to quit doing corporate world. And I didn't know, I never wanted to be an author. That was not ever part of my idea, but I had a life coach. I'd hired a coach. I was like, hey, I know this isn't what I want to do. And I know I'm good at what I'm doing, and I'm struggling with leaving it, kind of thing. And so I hired a life coach. I've always had therapists. I've always had coaches. I've always had alternative healers. I just have always felt like there's more. And if I can't figure it out, then I'm going to go get help. And even today, I still have 2 coaches. It's like, and I still have an energy healer. If I feel like I need it, I go to her. So they're all on speed dial.
Really? That's awesome. I mean, maybe it's just the people I've been talking to, but I don't feel like many people I talk to have that. And I'm impressed that you have people you can go to for that. Yeah,
it's like, there are different she's a business coach, but she also does energy work. And so we kind of speak a similar language on the metaphysical spirituality front. Another guy is really more of a business coach and stuff, but he also has that background. So right now, and I had a third one, but I let him go because it wasn't going too well. It was expensive, but I wasn't getting the value. So.
Well, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Tell me of the obstacles or challenges you're still working on.
It's I would say the biggest one is just, it's around really believing in my own success, doing this unique thing I want to do that really, I can't, if I wanted to stay in the safety leadership realm I was, but be on my own, to me, that would have been a piece of cake. I was already speaking at conferences. I already had clients that just sort of knew me. I already designed workshops. I was facilitating workshops around the world. So to do that on my own would just have been fine. But to do this whole, I want to do coaching, but I wanted to have a spiritual slant. I want to incorporate the alternative healing into it. And I really know it's an inside out job, meaning you really have to believe in your dream to manifest your dream. And so I didn't want to go back and be a therapist like I was before. So it was just this whole new And so really my biggest thing is just, it's believing in the success of it, even when certain days feel like it's not working the way you want it to, right? Certain days it's flowing well, certain days it's not. And in those days, it's like really just believing in it, trusting in it. It's doing the work I do with my clients on me. It's kind of like, even those of us out there, because, we write about inspiration, we talk inspiration, but at the end of the day, you're still human. You're still dealing with your own crap, and you still got to show up, and you still, I had this image, those Bobo dolls that when we were growing up, they're inflatable. They had sand on the bottom, and they would, and it's been, I was kind of laughing. I was like, man, I feel like one of those. I feel like I'm the eternal optimist. I will always bounce back up. But lately, it's been like, man, it's been like, and that's been a challenge too. Just being honest that even though I'm out there as a leader, if you will, and as a coach around helping people manifest their dream, doesn't mean I perfected it, but I have figured some things out, and there are pieces of my life that work rather well. And even in my still figuring it out, I can still show up and be helpful, right? It's fighting against that I have to have it perfect before I'm of value, kind of thing.
You obviously told me for advice. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
What's the best advice? I'm not sure. Where my head first went was like, even when I wanted to go to grad school, it was very not what went on in my family. Like college wasn't really part of the scheme. And then I did undergrad, and then now I wanted to go on and do grad school. And that was like, well, get to work, buddy. So it's kind of like what's coming to mind about my best advice has been just this. It's been a kind of inner advice of just doing it anyway, even though outer world's telling you kind of shouldn't, or you need to like do it the old fashioned way or something. I don't know. I would rather give it a try than not. So.
Okay.
I think people have dreams, and it's like, well, go find out. It's not necessarily easy. I wouldn't call entrepreneurship easy, but it is. Yeah.
Tell me, what do you do to bring you clarity?
What brings me clarity?
Yeah.
I have a daily practice. So before I do email, before I look at my phone, before I do any of that, I have a centering prayer practice and a meditative practice and a journaling practice, and it's part of my everyday morning. Mm-hmm. And it's just a way I want to get centered. So I do that. I really touch on seeing my dream being lived on a daily basis, to keep that kind of image alive. And so for me, part of that helps me get clarity. And the other part, and that's part of why I hired coaches, was it's like, help me figure out what the hell am I doing here on earth? What am I doing with this thing called Michael? And so some of that clarity has also been through coaches. And I think the last part, I try crap. It's like I try it out, and we see how that went. that sometimes brings you incredibly good clarity. It's like, move it out of your headspace and into the world, and there you go. You'll get rather clear rather quick.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent. So,
well, what is your next success look like?
My next level of success. So my divine dirt, which is this little guy, is my current book. And it's a collection of inspirational pieces, but I love gardening, so I threw in my gardening, and I threw in my love for photography, and but it also became a new ideas of like, well, what if you had products? Like, what if you had coffee mugs with your photography on it? And there's wall art now, and there's pillows now, and there's
that's cool.
So I'm just trying out this whole online store concept.
Mm-hmm.
and so really right now it's been creating products, which has been fun, but then now how do you promote an online store, and how does all that work? And initially it was just an idea of like, well, what if I took some of my inspirational pictures and words and put it on a t-shirt? Like, how do you do that and not have to have physical inventory? And then you find out about print on demand, and you watch a video here and you find out, so it's been this evolving piece. So really for me is to kind of hone in on my coaching and what I do with that, and clarifying it even more. I have 2 more books I feel that are percolating in there. Just one is a Divine Dirt 2, but one is a continuation from my first book, Manifest a Better Life with God. Like, I ended that feeling like there was more. So both of those. So that's
wow, cool. So you do to recharge.
To recharge. A couple of things, I guess. Like I said, I do. So centering prayer is Father Thomas Keating wrote a book called Open Mind, Open Heart. And he talks about centering prayer. It was an old meditative prayer practice back in the monasteries, like in the 12th, 14th century. And but it's really about being with the divine, or being with God, or being with whatever you call that or believe in it. But it's a silence, and it's a sinning, and it's a centering. But it's anytime you notice you go off in thought, you bring yourself back to your intention to be in the presence and action of this divine presence, if you will. And that practice, I discovered it in the 80s. I got to meet Father Keating, which was great. He was hysterical. I've done like 10-day silent retreats and things like that. But I have an insight, it's a timer called Insight Timer. But I have like little 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, all the way up to like an hour or so. And in my day, if I notice I'm starting to feel off kilter, I'm starting to feel stress, I'm feeling less centered, the moment I can pause me, I'll do like a 5-minute, and I'll just kind of bring it in there. Even when I taught live workshops, during a bathroom break, I would go lock myself in a stall. whether I needed to or not, I would do centering prayer for like 2 minutes. Just reground, just get back here. And because the more I live from here, talk from here, teach from here, it always goes better than anything my analytical mind will ever come up with. So I do that throughout my day, actually, to stay centered. And part of it, I think, is feeling when you notice you're getting away from feeling centered, right? And then, like, how long are you going to hang out not feeling centered?
So you just stop what you're doing.
If I can, and if I notice it, right? Because, I mean, sometimes you don't, right? Sometimes I think a lot of us are used to functioning on top of feeling crappy. We just, we know how to do it. We've been doing it. So breaking the habit of that has been part of the process. So no, as soon as I can tell I'm feeling anxious or off or irritated or whatever the offness feels like, and I can take 5 minutes, I'll do it.
Huh.
So
there's a few of the people who joined here, so I wanted to make sure we say hello to my good friend Ted again. Thank you for sharing this, Ted, and thank you for anybody that's shared these videos. It's been phenomenal. So, and then my old friend Kenny. So Kenny Gold Crusher, he's the man today. He's a nice guy. He's been very helpful to me and to a lot of other people. So having guys like Kenny around that can help me to be centered. That's been critical for my success. But anyway, more about you. What do you do to recharge?
So part of that is that. So I do use that meditative prayer practice to recharge.
Okay.
I've been in the habit lately. My office is close to home. I'm like a mile from my house.
Oh, wow.
And so if it's a nice day, I've been trying to just like take my bike to work instead. Or if it's a nice day, go home and let the dogs out and just eat at home and hang out in the backyard and get a little fresh air and just take in a little moment of sun. And so it's just things like that. Nature, I love gardening. So nature is a way to ground me. Even here, I'll just go walk in the parking lot.
That's great.
Any of those kind of help me kind of recenter and recharge.
So who do you have that shows you your partner?
Yeah, I really, what comes to mind is my coaches are good at that for me. Because one of my coaches, she always wants me to charge more than I want to charge. And it does. It pushes me, and we will. And I find the balance. I'm always still going to honor what I feel I'm ready for. Because if I go too far past it, it creates too much resistance, and it's like, it's not that I won't get there, but it's like, all right, I don't want to create too much resistance about it either. So it's a balance of pushing, but she's very good at that for me. And so they come to mind as far as my first people I go to, especially around my whole business life of creating this create with consciousness. So, yeah.
Being on here left, so there's two questions that I have. So tell me about your morning routine. You already did, really, with some of the stuff you're doing. But is there more to it than that?
It's I wake up. I'm an early bird, so 4:30. 5-ish, I sort of wake up, and it doesn't matter what time I go to bed, unfortunately. But no, it's pretty ritualistic. I will center and meditate, and I'll journal, and that's just sort of and then I walk my dogs. That's how I do my morning. That's my morning routine. And, so I'm just starting this. So it's Discover True North, the woman named Ann Bruce. She's a best-selling author. She's got like 20-something books. I sent her a copy of Divine Dirt. She loved it, and she's become a big fan. And then she just sent me a copy of her book. And I've read just the preface so far, and I already know, like, all right, I know I'm gonna like the content. I like how she writes. I like that it has a spiritual feel to it as well. So really, this is my next dive: is Discover True North by Ann Bruce. It's been out. It's been, I forget which edition this is. It's been in multiple languages, and so that's going to be my current read.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on today. I'm going to ask you to go back in the green room, and hopefully you and I can talk a little bit afterwards. But I wanted to just kind of close it out with everyone here and say goodbye, if you would, and we'll talk to you soon.
No, bye. Thanks a bunch, Brian.
Thank you very much for joining.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. So let's see here. What a day. Michael is phenomenal. Done a great job of helping us to understand what it is that he does. And I think that's important for us all to understand our core values, our core beliefs need to be aligned with our vision. And I think Michael did a great job of explaining how he has done that. So remember that this afternoon, actually not this afternoon, or later this morning, we're going to have a discussion with Rosemarie Rossetti, and she's going to tell us about her disability and how her caregivers have helped her with the disabilities. But again, she's going to also talk about her core vision, her core beliefs, her core values, and how they are aligned. So that is going to be a phenomenal talk. We're going to have that 11:30 today. But then also next week, we have got some great candidates coming on, or interviewees, if you will. So we've got Sam Richter coming in on Tuesday. So we're going to be off on Monday. But Sam Richter on Tuesday, Ryan Campbell from Australia, and who is the youngest to have circumnavigated the world in a plane. So having him on Wednesday will be incredible. So I'm looking forward to that talk. And then we have Derek Arden from UK, from the United Kingdom. He's coming in from London. So he's going to be joining us on the 10th. And then Jay Bear. Jay is another fellow speaker who is going to be joining us, and he talked a lot about customer service. So I'm very anxious to hear more about him and what it is that he's been doing. So I can't tell you how happy I am that you've joined us and taking your time out of your day to be with us. So again, please share this video with other people, share it with others, and make sure that you're putting in the hashtag live, hashtag replay, all that to help us to understand who you are and where you're coming in from. But that's really all we have for you for today. I want to make sure that you understand that how important it is to just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, but understand the importance of keeping your core values aligned with your vision. And as always, keep one eye on the road. Bye.